Change does not arrive by accident. It is summoned by choice. Life will remain exactly as it is until you make the conscious decision to change it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. This simple truth holds the key to transformation. You can wish for better, you can hope for more, but unless you take bold, deliberate action, your circumstances will mirror your inaction. Success, growth, happiness, these are not handed out. They are earned by those who refuse to accept the status quo and who dare to break the mold. Transformation begins the moment you realize that the power to change your life has always been in your hands. It's not your environment, your past, or your conditions that define your future. It's your decision to evolve. Self-transformation is not easy. It requires you to confront your excuses, challenge your habits, and rise above the comfort zone that has kept you stuck. But within that struggle lies the spark of greatness. Every breakthrough begins with a decision to think differently, act differently, and believe differently. You must become the architect of your own change, brick by brick, thought by thought. You must declare that who you are today will not be the limit of who you can become tomorrow. When you align your thoughts with purpose and your actions with discipline, the transformation becomes unstoppable. Growth is not something you stumble into. It is something you step into with intention and with courage. The life you want is waiting on the other side of your comfort zone, but it will not come to you. You must go to it. And it all begins with one powerful truth. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Every great transformation in history, whether personal, societal, or global, has started with a single powerful decision. Not a wish, not a vague hope. A clear, deliberate decision to become, do, or create something different. That's the spark. That's the moment when the future shifts. Because until you decide, nothing changes. It's easy to believe that change will happen when the timing is right, when things slow down, when the money comes in, when someone else gives us permission or the perfect opportunity shows up. But life doesn't work that way. Waiting is a trap. Time passes and the situation stays the same because the mindset stays the same. Here's the truth. Your future begins the moment you decide to own it. Change is not about waiting for external conditions to line up. It's about taking full responsibility for where you are and committing to where you want to go. That decision, though it happens in the mind, creates a shift in energy, focus, and direction. It activates a new version of you. This is why so many people feel stuck. They want change, but they haven't made the real decision to commit to it. They're interested in growth, but not invested. They say they want to improve their health, their business, their relationships, but they haven't drawn the line in the sand. They haven't said, I've had enough. This ends now. I'm becoming something more. Until that decision is made, old habits continue to run the show. A true decision is different from a passing thought. A true decision cuts off all other options. It creates clarity, it builds momentum, and most importantly, it gives birth to action. Because once you've made the decision to change, the question is no longer if, it becomes how. That's when the mind starts to work for you, seeking new strategies, new behaviors, and new solutions. That's when the transformation begins. You don't need to know every step of the journey. You don't need to have all the answers right now. What you do need is the courage to make the decision to grow, to be better, to live with intention. Your life can change radically in a single moment, the moment you finally decide to stop tolerating the things that hold you back. Think about it. Every area of your life that you've improved at some point began with a decision. You decided to change how you think. You decided to leave the toxic relationship. You decided to show up differently in your business. And when you did, everything around you began to respond because life reflects the energy and decisions we bring to it. The most powerful truth you can embrace is this. You are not waiting on life. Life is waiting on you. Waiting on your decision, waiting on your commitment, waiting on you to stop reacting and start creating. Change is never about ability, it's always about decision. The moment you say, I'm done living like this, I'm ready for more, you begin to tap into a power that has been dormant inside you all along. So if you want change, real lasting change, stop looking outside and start looking within. Ask yourself honestly, have I truly decided? Or am I still sitting on the fence of my potential? Because the second you make that decision, not halfway, but fully, the course of your life will begin to shift. It always starts there. Change begins with a decision. Make it, own it, live it. There is a simple but powerful truth about life. If you do nothing, nothing changes. Your results, your habits, your environment, everything will stay exactly as it is until you decide to act. Inaction is the silent killer of dreams. It's not always failure that holds people back. It's hesitation, procrastination, and the endless cycle of overthinking. You see, the danger isn't in making mistakes. The real danger is standing still. When you hesitate, when you wait for the perfect moment, when you postpone your goals for tomorrow, you're choosing comfort over growth. And comfort is the enemy of progress. It convinces you that where you are is good enough, while your potential slowly fades into the background. Let's be clear, inaction is a decision. Not doing something is still doing something. It's choosing familiarity over risk. It's choosing safety over evolution. It's choosing to stay where you are even when you know you're meant for more. And the most dangerous part? Life doesn't loudly alert you when you're wasting time. It does it quietly, subtly, day after day, while nothing moves forward. Every day that you delay your goals, your vision, your growth, you strengthen the habits that are holding you back. Momentum doesn't just apply to action, it applies to inaction too. The longer you stay stuck, the harder it is to break free. And the more you delay, the more your dreams begin to feel distant, like they belong to someone else. Inaction isn't neutral. It has a cost in time, a cost in energy, a cost in lost potential. That business idea you never started, that book you never wrote, that habit you never built, all of it adds up, and eventually the weight of what you didn't do becomes heavier than the fear that stopped you in the first place. But here's the good news. The moment you take even the smallest action, the momentum begins to shift. Action builds confidence. Action fuels clarity. Action separates the dreamers from the doers. You don't need to take massive life-altering steps all at once. You just need to move. One decision, one step, one day at a time. Because movement, any movement, is better than standing still. Think of your life like a garden. If you plant nothing, you get nothing. If you ignore the weeds, they take over. But when you cultivate it, when you take care, apply effort, and act with intention, it begins to grow. Your goals are the same. They need your consistent attention. They need your energy. They need you to show up, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or uncertain. The life you want is not waiting to be discovered. It's waiting to be built. And it doesn't begin with luck, talent, or external resources. It begins with movement. Because the longer you delay, the more permanent your present becomes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What action have I been putting off? What part of me is waiting for life to hand me what I haven't worked for? Be honest. And then remind yourself, your future is not shaped by what you think about doing. It's shaped by what you actually do. Don't let inaction rob you of your greatness. Make the call. Start the project. End the excuse. Take the step. Because the only way to create change is to be the one who moves first. Inaction is the enemy of transformation. Action is the beginning of everything. Transformation is not a gentle process. It is not smooth, predictable, or painless. It is a tearing down and rebuilding, a shedding of the old, and a bold step into the unknown. Self-transformation requires discomfort, and that is why so few people fully experience it. Because the moment change begins to stretch us, most retreat to safety. But here's the truth. You cannot evolve and stay comfortable at the same time. Growth lives outside the boundaries of ease. It challenges you. It forces you to face the parts of yourself you've ignored, avoided, or accepted for too long. And that's where the magic happens, not in the familiar, but in the fire. Discomfort is not the enemy. It's the sign you're getting stronger. When your habits are disrupted, when your routine is shaken, when your old identity begins to crumble, that's when transformation takes root. You can't change your life and hold on to who you used to be. You must be willing to let go of limiting beliefs, toxic environments, negative self-talk, and outdated patterns that no longer serve you. That process is uncomfortable, but what's more painful in the long run, temporary discomfort or a lifetime of regret? Many people ask for change, but what they really want is convenience. They want the result, but not the process. They want confidence without the challenge, wealth without the work, fulfillment without the friction. But true transformation doesn't work that way. You must earn it. And you earn it by walking straight into the discomfort and choosing not to quit. Look around at anyone who has achieved lasting growth or meaningful success, and you'll find a common thread. They were willing to be uncomfortable. They showed up when it wasn't easy. They kept going when no one was clapping. They pushed through the doubts, the failures, the criticism, and the fear. Why? Because they knew that on the other side of discomfort was the person they were born to become. Every time you stretch yourself, you expand your capacity. That workout that burned, that speech that scared you, that habit you had to break, those moments weren't setbacks. They were setups for your next level. Discomfort is the pressure that forms diamonds. It's the heat that purifies gold. It's the test that strengthens character. And yet many avoid it. They label discomfort as a sign to stop. But discomfort isn't a no. It's a sign you're in motion, that you're no longer sleepwalking through life, that you're alive, awake, and actively rewriting your story. Growth never feels like growth in the moment. It often feels like stress, confusion, or resistance. But that's exactly what change feels like before it becomes clarity. If you want to transform your life, you must be willing to let discomfort become your ally. Welcome it, lean into it, use it, because every challenge is shaping you. Every uncomfortable decision is refining you. Every fear you face is unlocking strength you didn't know you had. So stop waiting for it to feel easy. Stop waiting for a path without resistance. It's not coming, and that's a good thing. Because ease doesn't create power. Discomfort does. The version of you that's waiting to be unleashed is just on the other side of the resistance you've been avoiding. Self-transformation is not for the faint of heart, but neither is staying stuck. Choose your heart. Choose your discomfort. And choose to rise through it, because real change only begins where comfort ends. Before any success is built in the physical world, it is created in the mind. Your mindset is the master key to your reality. Every action you take, every goal you pursue, every barrier you break, it all begins with how you think. Your mindset is either your greatest weapon or your biggest limitation, and the outcome of your life reflects which one you've chosen to empower. Success doesn't start with money, talent, or even opportunity. It starts with belief. It starts with an internal shift where you stop seeing problems and start seeing possibilities. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world. If it's cloudy with fear, doubt, or scarcity, that's what you'll experience, no matter how much potential is around you. But if your lens is clear with purpose, belief, and focus, suddenly the world opens up. Options appear, strength rises, results follow. Every outcome you've achieved so far, good or bad, has roots in your thinking. Want to change the result? Change the root. You don't need a new life, you need a new lens. You need to think like the person you want to become, not the person you've always been. Because you can't build a new reality with the same mindset that created your current one. The most successful people in the world aren't just skilled, they're mentally conditioned. They've trained their thoughts to align with the outcomes they want. They've built a mindset of resilience, discipline, and vision. They don't allow failure to define them. They don't let fear dictate their direction. Why? Because they understand that mindset is the foundation of everything. When you believe in your capacity to grow, you take risks. You show up differently. You bounce back faster. You stop making excuses and start making adjustments. That shift doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what you do. And when your actions change, your outcomes change. But let's be real. Mastering your mindset takes work. It's not about reciting affirmations and hoping for the best. It's about rewiring years of conditioning. It's about catching negative thoughts before they spiral. It's about choosing faith over fear over and over again. Some days it's a battle. But it's a battle worth fighting, because the strength of your mindset determines how far you go, how fast you grow, and how high you rise. Too many people think they need better circumstances to be successful. What they really need is a better mental strategy. They think confidence comes after success, but confidence is what creates success. They wait for motivation, when in reality, a strong mindset generates motivation through clarity, purpose, and persistence. Your goals don't require perfection, they require mental alignment. If your mind is aligned with your mission, no setback can derail you. If your thoughts are focused, your steps become intentional. You stop drifting and start designing. You stop reacting and start leading. So if you're not where you want to be right now, start with your mind. What are you feeding it? What are you focusing on? What beliefs are you reinforcing? Because your mind is always working, either building you or breaking you. You get to choose. Your mindset is your engine. Your beliefs are your fuel. And your thoughts are the steering wheel. Don't just aim to change your life. Aim to master the mind that creates it. Because in the end, your mindset doesn't just influence your outcome, it determines it. Growth doesn't happen by accident, it happens by design, and that design is built on two powerful pillars, discipline and purpose. Without discipline, your energy is scattered. Without purpose, your direction is lost. But when both are present, when your actions are locked in with intention and your days are driven by something deeper, you become unstoppable. Let's start with discipline. Discipline is the difference between a wish and a result. It's the quiet, consistent force that pushes you forward when motivation disappears. Anyone can be inspired for a day, but discipline shows up when you don't feel like it. It's the alarm clock that goes off before the sun. It's the decision to keep going when no one is watching. It's the commitment to excellence, even in the small things. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being committed. You won't always feel like doing the work. You won't always be excited about the process. But if you let your emotions run your effort, your results will always be inconsistent. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who do. Now pair that with purpose, and you've got the formula for true growth. Purpose is the fire behind the action. It's the why behind the what. Without purpose, you'll lose heart the moment things get hard. But when your purpose is clear, challenges become part of the mission. Obstacles become training grounds, and effort becomes meaningful. Purpose turns discipline from a burden into a blessing. You no longer show up out of obligation. You show up out of alignment. You know what you're building, who you're becoming, and why it matters. That sense of direction infuses your actions with power. You're not just working hard, you're working with intention. The most powerful individuals, the ones who grow, evolve, and thrive, don't rely on random spurts of inspiration. They've created a life of structure fueled by something bigger than comfort. They don't just do things when they feel ready. They've trained themselves to do what's necessary, whether it's convenient or not, and they tie their actions to something meaningful, their family, their vision, their legacy, their faith, their mission. You want to grow? Get clear on your purpose. Then discipline yourself to move in that direction every single day. Small, steady steps will always beat chaotic sprints. Growth is not a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. And that lifestyle is built on the ability to stay consistent when everyone else is quitting. The truth is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. And discipline is the engine that powers those habits. It's what keeps you showing up when it's boring. It's what keeps you learning when it's hard. It's what keeps you pushing when it would be easier to coast. Discipline is the daily proof that you are serious about your future. And when it's fueled by purpose, that's when the breakthrough happens. So ask yourself, what am I really working toward? Why does it matter? And am I showing up like someone who means it? Because when you combine discipline with purpose, you create a life of forward motion. No more waiting, no more stopping and starting. Just clear vision backed by relentless effort. Growth doesn't come from a single leap. It comes from repeated steps in the same direction. Discipline creates the steps. Purpose gives them meaning. And together they build a path that leads to transformation. The most profound truth you can embrace is this: you are the architect of your future. Every choice you make, every thought you entertain, and every action you take today is shaping the tomorrow you will live. Life doesn't happen to you, it responds to you. Your destiny is not some random event waiting to unfold. It is a blueprint, a work in progress, and you are the one holding the pencil. Many people live their lives as if they're waiting for the right time or the right opportunity to come along. They wait for the world to give them permission, to hand them the perfect circumstances, to tell them they are ready. But that's not how transformation works. Waiting for someone else to design your future will leave you stuck in the same place year after year. Your life will remain a series of reactions to external events rather than a deliberate creation of your own. The truth is, you have more control than you think. Every decision you make is a stroke of the pen on your life's canvas. Every time you decide to show up, to take action, to persist in the face of difficulty, you are designing your future. The power is in your hands. The life you want does not begin with the perfect conditions. It begins with the mindset that you are the one who will create it. When you step into the role of architect, you realize that there are no limits to what you can build. You are not a passive observer of your life. You are its creator. But this comes with responsibility. It means you can't blame your circumstances, your past, or your environment for where you are. You are the sum total of your choices. And if you want something different, you have to choose differently. This realization can be both liberating and intimidating. On one hand, it means the power to change is within you. You are not bound by the limits of the past. You don't have to be defined by who you were yesterday. You get to design the person you are becoming. But on the other hand, it means you can no longer hide behind excuses. The only thing standing between you and your future is the decisions you're willing to make today. So how do you become the architect of your future? It begins with clarity. What do you want? Not what do you think you can have, but what do you truly desire? You can't build a structure without a blueprint, and you can't create a meaningful future without knowing exactly what you want to create. Once you have clarity on your vision, commit to it with unwavering dedication. Next, start taking action. Break the grand vision into manageable steps. The greatest structures are built one brick at a time. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start now, even if it's just a small step. As you take action, you'll learn, adjust, and improve. The key is not to get stuck in planning or fear. Move forward, and your future will begin to take shape. Finally, be willing to reassess and adapt. The road to success is rarely linear. There will be challenges, setbacks, and unexpected turns. But remember, you are the architect. You get to adjust the blueprint as you go. Flexibility is just as important as consistency. If something isn't working, change it. If you make a mistake, learn from it. The future is a work in progress, and you're the one holding the power to shift it. The beauty of being the architect of your own life is that you can create whatever you envision. The power lies in your hands, and no one else can take that power from you unless you allow it. Your future is not a predetermined fate. It's a living, breathing creation that you get to mold every day. So take responsibility for your choices. Design a future that excites you. Let your purpose, discipline, and mindset guide you as you build the life you were meant to live. You are the architect of your future. Start designing it today.